Okay, my guess is we've got 25 people online, counting me in the room, so 23, and about maybe 60 people in the room. So that's about 2/3 of the committee. So welcome. This was our original opening slide for the kickoff, but then that happened. So we are now officially Vis2023. Woohoo! Yay! So the conference will run 21st to the 27th of October next year in Melbourne, Australia. This is definite, for real this time. I'm Tim Dwyer. This is Michael Wybrow. For Sarah Goodwin at the moment, it's about 4 a.m., so we did not insist that she join, especially because she's got a very small child. She will, however, join the calls in future, and she's looking forward to joining you as much as we are. So we're looking for a motto for the conference. That was my first idea. Another idea is Global Vis, because this is the first time that Vis has been in the Asia-Pacific region. So it symbolises, I think, an effort to truly make this a global conference, not just a North American conference, which is how it started out, not just a North American plus Western European conference, but really global. And we hope, we realise we may lose some of the some people from those traditional places, but we hope to pick up more from other places. So that's the vision. We're still workshopping this motto though. So if you have better ideas, please let me know. Okay. Okay. I realise that's kind of tiny. If people have binoculars, it might be useful. We're going to start off this session quite interactively. We're going to do something that we couldn't do on a Zoom call, or at least we couldn't do in quite a physicalized way. And this may be complete chaos. I'll apologise in advance if it doesn't work, but let's see. So what I would like to do is see if we can organise as much as possible, clustering into groups, into our subcommittees. So, okay, how shall we do this? Let's start off with somebody from the Area Curation Committee. Anybody here from the Area Curation Committee? Put your hand up. Hendrik, could you come over here, please, to this corner over here? And anyone else from the Area Curation Committee, please follow Hendrik over to this corner of the room. Oh, yeah, definitely. And okay, so gradually make your way over to Hendrik if you're on the Area Curation Committee. Maybe papers chairs. Who's a papers chair? Put up your hand. Great. Okay, you folks, please move just a few seats back from Hendrik, if you'll come over. Seriously, there's only one person from the Area Curation Committee here? Okay, we'll have to do better than that next year. We may have some people online. For you people online, position yourself in your room, whatever. Okay, what else have we got? Reasonable size ones. General chairs to the stage. Incoming general chairs, why don't you come up here? We got some incoming general chairs? Yeah. Who else have we got? So feel free to take the initiative and find a spot for yourselves. Supporters chairs, you're a reasonable sized group. I just saw Benjamin walk in. Yeah, supporters chairs, over to where Benjamin is. Good job, Benjamin. Okay. Overall papers, did I mention you people? Yep, you're on it. Excellent. Initiative, I like it. Short papers, over there. Short papers over there, excellent. Good job, thank you for the help. Workshops, you're a reasonable sized group. Where are you? Up there? And then it's just like back down. Okay. What have we got? Web. Where's the web? Excellent. Good. This is going to take ages. Anyone not already close to where they're, anyone feeling lonely? That's kind of bad. So Hendrik's going to decide all the papers next year. All the curation, yeah. Yeah, sure, why not? Sure. Yes, that's an excellent idea. Although we're catching up after lunch, aren't we? So that's not essential. But yeah, come join us. Yeah. Okay. Everybody more or less in a group near. Yep. Panels chairs right in the middle.
Or past panels chairs.
Archive, you folks get together. Sorry? Posters. Any other posters chairs?
No.
No? All right. Okay, interesting. This exercise will work much better in Melbourne next year when we get... All right, so a couple of reasons for trying to cluster into our groups early. We're going to talk about the structure of the committee in a minute, and maybe you'll be able to visualize it better if you see your colleagues close to you.
And we probably should have said this is the roster for this year with the incoming chairs for each of the roles in orange and the existing people who are remaining in those roles in black, and the outgoing ones are not listed.
Yeah, so apart from just seeing your colleagues right now, the other reason for doing this is that at 12:30 we're going to separate and go off for lunch in our own groups. So added incentive to find a friend right now. Otherwise, okay. All right, Hendrik, you can sit. You can hang out with those people. That's all right.
The other thing to mention for anyone who's in the room that wants to get involved and is not listed up here, there are some, we're not still entirely sure that this is completely accurate, but there may be some opportunity. So if you are interested in joining the organising committee, you can let us know and make yourself known to the VEC and get involved in that way.
Yep, okay, so some basic information. We are up there, and Melbourne is there. Okay, now some things to know about that. It's not as far as it looks. There's a shortcut, around that way. Okay, Melbourne is in GMT plus 10 time zone. That's important to note because we are changing the meeting time. But don't panic. We've tried to be as fair as we can. So the new meeting time is going to be 7 a.m. Melbourne time, which works out not as badly as I might have thought. So for people in this time zone, and remember it'll move around as things go on throughout the year. So if you're not familiar with meeting planner tools that work across time zones, it might be worth having a look. We will send out Google invites that magically do all the hard work for you. So for Oklahoma, it's not too bad. For the UK, it's not terrible. For Western Europe, not too bad. Auckland, that's pretty good. Tokyo and Seoul, it's hopefully you're an early riser, in which case that's not too bad. I'm sorry, India, I really am. Probably if we find that we have a subcommittee that's completely staffed by people from India, we might need to shuffle or something. Generally, the mitigation plan has always been not to have more than one person on a committee that is in one of these awkward time zones. I don't think that's the case though. So hopefully this is okay-ish for most people. It does move around as daylight savings moves. So for example, that was October. Things change a little bit around June, and there's going to be a couple of other shifts as well. First full OC call Everybody gets a couple of weeks off. Enjoy it. But from Wednesday the 23rd of November, that's Wednesday in Melbourne. So what day is that for people here? A different day. Tuesday,
Like
yes.
it says up here.
Oh, good, thank you. Okay. So Tuesday if you're in this time zone, Wednesday if you're in many of the other time zones. And after that, it shuffles after that, whether or not you need to join the call. So there will be weekly calls, but whether or not you need to join the call depends on your position within the conference structure, which is what we're going to talk about shortly. Oh, one more thing to announce. So the webpage is up on staging. I haven't got the link right now, but you'll find it if you know your way around the staging system. But we're going to get this up on the correct place as soon as possible. Just for that, Pierre, you can stick around after and we'll have a private discussion. No, it's going to wrap up at 12:30 and then we're going to go off and have separate. Oh, I thought he was getting bored.
Oh.
Okay. Look, we'll try and keep them efficient. How long do the committee meetings last? About an hour, and on a good day. Okay, so the way things work, we try to get as many people's reports as quickly as possible, and then you can drop off the call if necessary. And the core meetings usually happen afterwards, so for the core people, you'll have to stick it out to the bitter end, which means you might have to stick around into a second hour. We will try and be as efficient as possible. I'm sure people say that every year. But okay, so this is the conference website. There's a new colour scheme for the logo, which is an Australian themed, inspired colour scheme. It's from the ochre colour scheme. Thank you, Jim Smiley, one of our incoming web chairs who picked that one. That's the view from, the view from Jim's balcony, seriously. So that's a king parrot? Yep.
King parrot.
Not sure if we'll replace it or not, but I like it. It matches the colour theme too if you're on a nice screen. Okay. Committee structure. So we are, of course, governed by the executive committee and the steering committees. Any VEC or VSC members here? Oh, thank you, Holger. Thank you, Gautam. And then the core committee includes us, general chairs, program, archive, finance, VEC liaison, and these other associated event liaisons. So sorry, core committee, you people will probably have the most calls and the longest calls. Within that, under that, then there's 4 subcommittees: main events, infrastructure, outreach, and associated events, and they break down into all sorts of smaller areas. So you can see where you are in the hierarchy. Infrastructure. Most of these positions are now filled. There's a couple that are we're still figuring out a couple of little gaps. But if anybody wants to yell out anything about, I had thought we could perhaps take a minute for somebody to speak about each of these subcommittee groupings. Or do you want to break up into groups?
I mean, look, the subcommittee groupings are sort of loose associations that make sense for the purpose of scheduling calls. So we've shuffled these a little bit, but they're mostly similar to the past, as in, it's likely to be a call that is main events and core, or core and outreach, or something like that. There's some of these chairs that we might speak to at different cadences, like the supporters chairs or other things like that. But it's just useful groupings for that purpose.
Yeah. So hopefully, apart from people on core, your meeting cadence should be about once per month-ish. People on core, probably weekly. All right. The actual agenda is still to be, the actual schedule for these calls is to be figured out beyond the first. We will go through that and try and adapt it from previous years. Okay. There's no need for this to go on longer than necessary, but we do have mics up here, and it would be good to hear Q&A. There will be a knowledge base published shortly. That will be in the usual place. But for now, if there's any key insights or questions that people want to make, we have mics.
Yeah, do we want to talk to this a little bit?
All right.
Okay, so maybe I'll just talk to it. A few things we've been discussing for next year. First is the mode of the conference. We're planning it to be an in-person conference. As those of you that were at the town hall would have heard Tim speak about it. So we're talking about an in-person conference with online content that's available shortly after. The true hybrid won't work well for a lot of the world based on the time zone we're in. And we see this as the sort of most beneficial approach, both to get people to travel to Australia, but also make the content available to people that can't. One of the things we're certainly aware of and working on is the need for a robust set of supporters for the conference. And I mean, the more we have in terms of supporters, the more it allows us to do. And towards this, we've appointed a number of local chairs, one in each of the major cities in Australia where we're likely to get people travelling from. So we can look at approaching industry there and benefiting from their support.
So they're not here this week, but we'll introduce you very shortly, supporters chairs, to your co-chairs.
Yeah, and the idea is these are people that are based in those cities, and this is why there's a large number of, or a large increase in supporters chairs this year. In terms of the planning for the calls, one of the reasons we're not announcing anything to do with that is we want to spend some time initially looking at the deadlines, given the way the conference has been in person in the past and then move to these various forms of online or virtual. As a result, we don't want to just take timelines from last year and work off those. They don't really make sense. So we're going to go back and look at both the in-person conferences and revisit this both towards things like organisation of the prospectus that we give to supporters, looking at registration timeline, when we have things like mini-conf ready, things like the IEEE downloads that have caused a bit of problems this week and often also in the past. So we'll be adjusting the timelines and making those available to you based on that. One of the things, or a couple of things that are likely to be discussed but not decided yet are the structure for conference registration. We know there's been some issues with people being unhappy with that in the past, and different structures make sense for different styles of conference depending on the mode. So we're going to look at that, but it needs to be done with the VEC and other governance bodies. And same with the presentation length. You know, this was mentioned as well at the town hall. This is something that was an experiment for this year. I think we need to collect feedback from the entire community about what they like about it, what they don't, both how, I guess, Slido works and in-person question answering, all that sort of stuff is still likely to be under discussion. Another thing we're doing is we're working with a professional conference organizer who's assisting in some of the local organisation of the conference, things like the hotel and helping with the venue and AV and food and drink planning, and also helping with the supporter recruitment. And I guess this is important because a lot of the way this is usually done is with people here who in the US who would travel to these places, and it's a lot harder to do that when we're working so far away. Anything else we should mention, Tim?
There's been questions or suggestions about different ways we can do the supporters panels and things like that. So really, that's going to be a key thing going forwards. Oh yes.
Yeah, and at this point you can go to the next slide, Tim. But we were planning to just open it up for questions from everyone too. So yeah. feel free to.
Is that mic working?
Yep.
Yes, this is not so much a question, but yeah, it is a question actually. I'm Benjamin from the supporters chairs, which is currently looking into ideas of how we can better include the supporters into the conference for them to get more out of it, as well as for us as a community, how we can better connect to them. So if you have any thoughts, if you have any observations, or if you have talked to them, please talk to us. I'm still around until tomorrow, Vidya as well. And yeah, any sort of ideas or observations, please let us know. We really want to make things better next year. Thanks.
Yeah, that's so important. We did lose a couple of large sponsors this year, and
Not due to us.
no. Definitely events well and truly beyond our control. But moving forward, we do need to find new supporters for obvious reasons. Yeah, Dominic.
Yeah, I thought the Slack worked really well this year as a way to coordinate with like other groups and within like the chair groups. Are we going to have something like that again? And also, is there maybe a way to have something that works across different years? So, right, the Slack, we're not paying for it, so it's going to disappear. All the messages are going to disappear in a couple of months. Do we want to switch to something else that actually supports like more persistence across years?
Yeah, so Slido's great because...
Slack.
Sorry?
I was talking about
Slack, sorry. Oh, Slack.
Slido's a different...
Slido's a different issue. All right. I'm open to Slack. Slack does seem to work well. Unless anyone's got a better suggestion, Slack will probably be a...
Well, the problem is all the messages disappear in a couple of months.
Oh, because of that. Yeah, that...
So
I don't think it's good for archival purposes.
We can get
so.
sponsorship for it or something.
archive.
Yeah, so maybe just on this topic, we were a little delayed, but there will be a survey going out to update the knowledge base to capture the key pieces of information that might be, ephemeral on Slack. So please actually do take the time in the coming week, once that's out, to actually update, because that will be the primary mode. Of course, it won't capture all of the issues, but it does provide some level of coverage then. Thank you.
Thanks.
If you have an alternative, let me know. Let us know, though.
Maybe just a quick comment on that. I mean, yeah, someone shouted it in. I mean, everyone's using Discord anyway, and that doesn't have the Slack issue, so that might be just a good and free option.
Okay. Any other questions?
Or just things you want to bring to our concern? Okay, there's some in the chat.
Not Zoom chat, that's for sure. I'll link to the webpage in the Zoom call for those people online. Why isn't that coming up?
Link to the webpage.
Oh, because Zoom doesn't get shared. Okay. We are back to Vis2021 now, question mark, smiley face from Hellwig. Yes. What? No, 2021. No, I reckon we're more like Vis2019.
Your slide at the top.
What? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, no, it's definitely 2023.
Nice catch.
Yeah. No, there's no more questions on Zoom. So let me get rid of that because that's really disturbing. Yeah. Okay. Lunch? Anyone? Okay. Thank you.